Alright, welcome to another episode. Today we're doing a tie rod replacement on this Nissan Maxima. The easiest way to really tell if you do indeed need a tie rod, go ahead and grasp the 3 and the 9 o'clock position on the tire and shake it. And as you can hear, there's clicking going on, and that's the tie rod, so it really needs to be replaced. So we're going to do that today, so let's go ahead and let's begin. And of course, don't forget your jack stands. Okay, so of course here is the outer tie rod, and again if we shake the hub here, you can see the knuckle moving in that area. So this really needs to be replaced, the tie rod here. So underneath here, let me give you another view. On the bottom right here you have a cotter pin. So we need to remove the cotter pin, remove this bolt, and then I'll show you how to remove the tie rod from the knuckle. And you can use really a variety of tools. You can use a flathead screwdriver, needle nose pliers, you can use one of these wire cutters. You can really do whatever works for you, to be honest. But the whole point is you just want to squeeze the ends and that's it. So now we can go ahead and remove this lower nut, and this happens to be an 18 millimeter. What I'll be using is this breaker bar. This just makes the job a lot easier. If you don't have a breaker bar, get yourself a wrench or a ratchet in the socket and place a pipe over the end of a wrench or a ratchet. It's better if you have a wrench because you don't want to put too much strain on a ratchet with a breaker bar, or excuse me, a pipe. But get yourself a breaker bar. These things are really invaluable. So let me just zoom out here so you guys can see this. And of course, don't forget your safety glasses. And then we'll go ahead and just turn away. And that's it. And as you can see, these bars are really invaluable, so get yourself one of these. Okay, so now we have this lower nut removed, and the next step is we have a locking nut right here. Now this is reverse thread, so in other words, you're going to turn this clockwise or toward the right to loosen it up. This happens to be, in this case, a 7/8, or you can just use an adjustable wrench. So just place the wrench over the nut. Let me back off here a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is strike the end of the wrench here with, this happens to be a 4-pound sledge. You can use a carpenter's hammer, but this just has a lot more force. And that's it. Once you loosen up this nut, just leave it the way it is. In other words, don't keep on unscrewing it because you want to keep the alignment as close as possible. Once you add on or replace the tie rod, then really you should get an alignment done. But if you keep this as close as possible, really you'll be in the best position to keep your alignment in track. The last step is we need to remove the tie rod from the knuckle. Now they do make a tool, a separating tool made specifically for tie rod replacement. You can rent them, in fact, but in this case what I'm going to do, what I'm going to show you is what you want to do is strike the knuckle with a heavy hammer, and the vibration will cause this to become loose. So let me show you. Again, I'm using a 4-pound hammer here. Really the bigger the hammer, the better. And of course, don't forget your safety glasses, and just give it a good whacking. And after 2 or 3 hits, the tie rod is completely free. And then of course just go ahead, unscrew the tie rod, and we'll be ready to install a brand new one. And that's it. And then of course go ahead and reinstall a brand new tie rod. It will include a brand new nut, and usually you will also receive a brand new cotter pin. So it's just the reverse procedure. Just place the tie rod back on the vehicle. Insert back into the knuckle. Now the factory calls for this lower nut to be 22 to 29 foot-pounds for this vehicle. And if you do not have a torque wrench, just make sure you make it nice and snug. But I do indeed have a torque wrench, so I'm just going to wrap this up here. Okay. Go ahead, grab your new cotter pin, install it right there, and then get yourself needle nose pliers. And then don't forget to retighten this nut. Don't forget it's reverse threads. And I'll even tap it with a hammer. Go ahead, place the wheel back on the car, and you're in good shape. I do recommend getting an alignment regardless, but at least now you're ready to rock and roll.